Hey there everybody, long time no see. A while back, BuzzFeed made a video in which people talked about things that they wish they could have said to themselves when they were teenagers. And that video kind of struck a chord with me because there are tons of things that I wish I could say to myself as a teenager, which I am going to share some of those things with you today. Okay, Teenage Steve, for starters, please stop trying to cut your own hair. The way you're cutting your hair is really ridiculous, honestly. Oh, and by the way, in your senior year of high school, you're going to grow out a goatee and a mustache, and you're going to part your hair down the middle and slick it back. Don't do that. You look really strange. I mean, you look strange to begin with, but you make yourself even stranger. I mean, look, in the picture, you look so unlike yourself that the people who put the picture in the yearbook spelled your name wrong. But in the long run, that doesn't really matter, does it? Just like the rest of high school. It's very hard for you to realize it now because you're going through it, but high school in the long run really doesn't matter. The funny thing is, the one thing that you really think doesn't matter in high school is the one thing that does matter, and that's your grades. They help you get into college, and college is pretty much a necessity right now if you want to get a decent job. So yes, I know you're doing pretty well with the grades right now, but just keep it up, please. Now, as for the rest of the stuff that goes on in high school, such as your thoughts about who likes you, who you should hang out with, what people think of you, that stuff does not matter at all. Most of the people who you meet in high school you will never see again once you graduate. Don't try to follow what everyone else is doing. Just do whatever the heck you want to do, as long as it's not hurting anybody and not bringing your grades down or debilitating you in some way. You play the keyboard, which a lot of people think is a really geeky instrument, but don't be afraid to admit that you love playing the keyboard. If there's this one band that everybody is talking about and you have no idea who the hell they are, don't pretend you do. Just be yourself and don't try to conform to everything. But at the same time, you gotta be careful there, because what I also do not want you to do is just be blatantly against everything for no reason at all. If you really don't like something and you have a really good reason behind it, then that's fine. But don't be anti-everything and all pissed off at the world just because. It's not really worth it to be pissed off at the world, unless you're using that as energy for doing something about what you're pissed off about. And I'm gonna backtrack a bit to the point that I made about not pretending that you know things that you don't know anything about. Right now, you are kind of under the impression that once you reach adulthood, wow. You're under the impression that once you reach adulthood that you will magically begin to know everything and have all the answers. I'm legally an adult now, and I definitely do not have all the answers to everything. And from what I've seen from most adults who are older than me, they don't have a clue either. I'm not saying people are stupid, I'm just saying that I have yet to meet anybody who knows absolutely everything. There's this movie from 1993 that you have not seen yet, but you will love when you first see it at the age of 21. It's called Matinee. And I'm not going to get into what the movie is about, but I will give you a small message that John Goodman gives at the very end of the movie. Kids think that adults have all the answers, but they really don't. They're just making it up as they go along, just like the kids are. And there's one other thing that I definitely think I should mention to you, because right now you are going through a really awkward phase in your life where you don't really know how to talk to anybody, especially girls. At this time in your life, you're kind of becoming conscious that a bunch of people around you are starting to get girlfriends and boyfriends and supposedly falling in love and all this lovey-dovey stuff, and you're still like, oh, I know what those things are called. They're called girls. Something that I would really like to tell you, do not think it's a bad thing that you don't have a girlfriend yet. A lot of you watching this video probably don't know this, and some of you might, and I used to be very shy about admitting it because at the time it was kind of embarrassing, but right now I just really don't care because it really doesn't matter. I didn't have my first girlfriend until I was 22 years old, and before then I was always really self-conscious about the fact that I didn't date anybody. But honestly, that really doesn't matter. Number one, you're pretty young. Number two, because you are young, you're very immature and don't really understand what real love is. And number three, there aren't very many people out there who end up marrying their high school sweethearts. Suffice to say, life is not a romantic comedy. Get used to it. But at the same time, don't push people away if they give you signals that they like you or want to be around you. And another thing that I would really like you to remember, all these bad things you're going through, all of these really big experiences that are basically the bad parts of that roller coaster, they're gonna make you stronger, and they're gonna be part of what shapes you into the human being you are now. Oh, and by the way, as a side note, keep photobombing. You're pretty good at it. Oh, and by the way, a little announcement here. My friend Tony just launched a YouTube channel. He's calling himself ToneCone, and he's doing a bunch of videos related to gaming, and it is awesome. I strongly urge you to check it out. You will not be disappointed. Well guys, that's it for today. Steve, out.